In the previous video, we learned how to write a SOQL query on a single object in Salesforce. In this video, we'll be learning how to write a SOQL query on multiple standard objects by using the relationship between those two objects. So first, we'll be identifying the objects in the schema builder. After identifying the objects, we look at the relationships between these two objects and identify how to use those relationships in our query. Next, we'll be writing a child to parent SOQL query and a parent to child SOQL query. Let's get into it. In order to write a SOQL query with relationships on standard objects, we need to first identify those objects and study the objects and study the relationship between the two objects. So let's go to setup, and in setup, you can go to the schema builder, type schema in the quick find box, click on schema builder. Now, if your schema builder screen doesn't look as clean as this, just click on clear all and then select account and contact as the only two objects that we want to see. If you still see a blank screen, click on the display area at the right bottom of your screen, and that should bring the objects into view. So here what we are trying to do is we are trying to write a SOQL query using accounts and contacts. So let's look at the relationship between the two objects, and let's look at how we can use the fields to write a single query which pulls fields from contact as well as account. So if we look at the relationship here, it is a lookup relationship from contact to account. This means contact is the child object and it has got a lookup field on account, which is the account ID. If we want to look at the field name, you can go to the object manager in setup, click on contact and look at the fields. Under the fields, you can see there's a lookup field on the object account and the field name is account ID. While writing a SOQL query, it is useful to see the object in object manager because you can get the actual field name or the API name of the field, and this is what you will use in the query, not the field label. So let's go back to the schema builder. We'll write a simple query which selects the name, the email from the contact, and also pulls in the account name. Remember, what you have here is only a lookup field, so it doesn't actually store the account name in the contact object. It simply creates a relationship to the account object. You can use this lookup field to fetch the account name from the account object in the same query. So in the query that we are going to write, we will select the name of the contact, the email of the contact, and then we'll select the name of the account related to that contact. So to write the SOQL query, let's open the developer console. So in the query editor, we will write a simple query first, select name, email from contact object. Let's execute the simple query first and then we'll get into the relationship. So it fetches the name and email from contact. Now what we want to select is the account name from the account object. If we look at the schema builder briefly, we'll see that the contact object is related to the account with a lookup relationship. So we're going to use account.name. Let's execute this and then I'll explain. So what the query has done is it has fetched the name, email, and the account name from the account object. What we have done in the query is we have selected some fields from the contact object and used the lookup relationship in the contact object to fetch the account name. And to show the relationship, you have to use the account, which is the object name, dot, and then the field name from the account object. What we did here was we wrote a child to parent query. Now let's do it the other way around. What if we want to write a parent to child query? So if we want to write a query on the account object, that is, we want to select fields from account. Let's get rid of these fields and then decide what fields we want from account. So from account, let's say we want to show the name of the account. Let's keep it simple. Let's just select one field from account object. You have all the account names showing up here. Now, what if I want to show the name of every contact associated to this account? Go back to the schema builder. What you'll find is every account can have multiple contacts. It is a one-to-many relationship here. So to pull the contact details in our SOQL query, we will write a subquery. In brackets, we'll write a subquery, select name from contact. So this query, select name, and then the subquery, select name from contacts from account, brings us the results. It shows us the name of every account, and then it pulls a list of all the contact names in the query result. Our object name is contact. Why did we use contacts in our query. Because if we use contact, that's going to give us an error. Let's try to execute this. It gives us an error which says didn't understand relationship contact. Why? Let's find out from the object manager. In the object manager, select the object contact and let's look at this lookup relationship account name. For the lookup relationship on account, the child relationship name is contacts. And this is what we need to use in our query for the query editor to understand the relationship. Execute this and everything is all right. Now let's try to make this query a little bit more complex. Let's try to filter this query. So we can use a where clause where name equals Basilink. So we are still selecting select name from contacts from account where name equals Basilink. Execute this. It will only show you the records which contain the account name Basilink. Now let's see another complex filter here. So let us filter on these on particular account IDs. So we are selecting a field from account, selecting the name of contacts from the account object where the ID in that account object is found in certain criteria. What is the criteria? Let's write this query. So we want those account IDs, select account ID from contact where the last name equals Forbes. So this query does four things. First, the query finds the contacts with the last name Forbes and returns the value of each contact's account ID field. Next, it finds the value of that account ID in the ID field of an account and gets the name for that account. The query then looks at this account's related contacts and gets the name of each contact. And finally, the main query returns the name of each account that has a related contact with the last name Forbes. And for each of these accounts, the names of all the related contacts are returned in our results. Try to create similar SOQL queries on other objects where you know the relationship exists. Like we have used account and contact. You can use opportunities, you can use orders, contracts, any other relationships that you can find through the schema builder, and try to practice writing these SOQL queries on standard objects. In the next video, I'll be showing you how to write SOQL queries on custom objects. There's a slight difference in how to write those queries and how to use the relationships between custom objects. So look forward to seeing you in the next video. Do subscribe to this channel as well.